Hello, everyone, and welcome to Travel News Weekly by Turnpikes.com for October 27th, 2025. We begin this week in Florida, where a pair of major projects will extend access to one toll road and add a new exit to another. First, to Florida's Turnpike, where a direct connection between the Turnpike and I-95 in South Florida has been a desire for drivers for decades. This Friday will be the last day to comment about a plan to build just such a connection, which would be situated between mile markers 123 and 128 in Martin County near Hope Sound, just south of the Stewart exits. Residents and stakeholders were shown a final draft for the past week of the planned connector ramps, which will enable drivers from either the Turnpike or I-95 to transition from one highway to another via a pair of connectors. That presentation was held both live and online last Tuesday. Public comment for the presentation itself wraps up this Friday, which happens to be Halloween, we might add. However, comments about the project itself will continue to be accepted after Friday. Drivers using both roadways have been clamoring for a direct connection for years, with commuters and haulers using exits near where the two highways come the closest, including the Key Fort Pierce exit in St. Lucie County north of the Service Plaza, and in Palm Beach County to the south, where the roadways come near to each other at the Jupiter exit. A direct connection would alleviate traffic clogs, particularly in South Florida. However, no construction timeline is yet on the books, as this part of the development is still in the study phase. One project that is not in the development phase is the new extension for the Polk Parkway in Central Florida. Local and state authorities were on hand just before the weekend as construction crews broke ground Thursday on the latest extension to the Polk Parkway, which connects directly with I-4. An extension connecting the southeastern side of Polk Parkway to US 17 to the south has been under construction, and that's due to be completed within about a year and a half. Now an extension of that new connection is being developed between US 17 and Florida State Road 60, a key corridor between Florida's east and west coasts. That makes State Road 60 a desirable connection, particularly for truckers who use that route and then connect with highways in the town of Bartow, which connect to Polk Parkway. Of course, that brings traffic through the heart of Bartow, leaving the town plagued with traffic issues. It is expected the new Polk Parkway extension will divert traffic away from the key US 98 route to the Parkway, giving drivers a more direct connection to I-4 from State Road 60. First part of the extension is expected to be completed by 2027. The new leg of that extension, which broke ground before the weekend, will not be completed until the 2030s. Staying in Florida, a portion of the much-used Skyway fishing pier next to the Sunshine Skyway bridge is closed as of this week due to structural concerns with the pier. The section in question is on the South Pier in Manatee County, where authorities found structural defects that have forced the closure of the pier beyond the bait shop. The remainder of that portion of the pier will remain open to the public for now, however. The piers are a state park that mark the remnants of the old Sunshine Skyway Bridge, which was partially destroyed by a ship collision in 1980. Again, the fishing pier on the south side of the Sunshine Skyway in Florida is now closed past the bait shop. The closure does not affect the North Fishing Pier just south of St. Petersburg. In brief this week marks a deadline for anyone with questions about a current proposal to request an upgrade to the tolling system on the Pontchartrain Causeway near New Orleans. The request for proposals opened this month with a December 19th deadline to submit proposals for replacing the causeway tolls with a new all-electronic system. However, questions about the process have to be received this week by Wednesday. The Greater New Orleans Causeway Commission will post responses to those questions on its site by November 12th. Selection of a contractor is expected by the beginning of February 2026. And finally this week, it's that time of the year when we fall back. Clocks reset this Sunday, ending daylight savings time until next spring. Clocks roll back 1 hour in the wee hours of Sunday morning, November 2nd, giving us an extra hour for the day. Again, daylight savings time ends Sunday at 2 o'clock in the morning. Clocks roll back 1 hour at that time. That will wrap things up for this week. Thank you for joining us. We will touch base again next week with instant updates on social media. Remember to drive safely and please avoid distracted driving. I'm Danny Pryor reporting for Turnpikes.com, the Turnpike Authority.